we created a little matrix for you guys to kind of step you through some of the pros and cons, the advantages, disadvantages of these 3 different mobile-friendly implementations. And so the first line up here is the cost. And the winner for being best on cost is going to be responsive design in most cases. With the 2 other options, with the M.dot, using a different URL, or using dynamic serving of mobile content, you're effectively creating a second website. And so there are going to be higher costs initially because you're building a second website. There's going to also be higher costs on a maintenance on an ongoing basis, because when you make a change to one website, you probably need to make a change to the second website. And keep in mind, I'm oversimplifying some things because we've only got we've got about an hour tonight to talk through this. But your costs can generally be lower if you're going with responsive web design than if you're going with either of the other 2 options. The second thing that I wanted to point out is, I believe is for the most part going to be better with responsive web design, is that the technical setup, the technical considerations are going to be somewhat easier on the mobile website. There's exceptions to the rule all over the place, but in general, it's going to be easier to set up a mobile-friendly website by going with responsive web design. Now, there are a few things that are better about either going with an M.dot, different URLs, or going up with the dynamically served content. And that is that you can really tailor the experience and the content to a mobile user. And so, because it is a different website, if you go with either of the first 2 options, you really can serve up, custom content, and you can really have a completely different layout and design specifically tailored to people who are visiting your website on a mobile device. And there's also the potential for you can have your website load faster if it's very specifically tailored and developed for a mobile user. As long as you do everything right, you have the potential for your mobile website to load faster if you go with one of the first 2 options. But it's usually that the cost of development and the cost of updating it and maintenance of it usually trumps these other things. And so if you're Amazon.com, you've got enough resources that you can have a completely separate website experience and content even for mobile users. But for most entities that we run into, responsive is the right way to go. I'll also tell you that from an SEO perspective, we believe that responsive web design is better for SEO. For number one, Google recommends it. Google says this is the right way, but it's also more difficult to mess up some of the technical SEO considerations if you go with responsive design. So that's what we recommend in almost every case, is going with responsive web design.